The genital system consists of those gonads and the genital sex ducts. Gonads are testes in male and ovaries in female, and they develop from genital ridge with incorporation of the primordial germ cells. Genital ducts in male include the efferent ductules of testis, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, and ejaculatory duct. And genital ducts in female, you have seen uterine tubes, uterus, and vagina. And accessory sex glands in male include the prostate and bulbourethral glands, whereas in female include the greater vestibular glands known as Bartholin's glands. Okay. Next. So this is the migration of primordial germ cell. This yellow structure is the yolk sac. From there, it is migrating towards the gut. Okay, developing gut. So primordial germ cells, they reside in the yolk sac and migrates to wall of gut during 4th to 6th weeks of intrauterine life. And later, these cells migrate through the mesentery of gut to the dorsal body wall and colonies to form the gonadal ridge and subsequently gonads, testes or ovaries. Okay. Next. So primordial germ cells arise from epiblast, that is primitive ectoderm, in the 2nd week. And these primordial germ cells remain within extraembryonic mesoderm of connecting stalk and wall of the yolk sac. And on formation of the tail fold, these primordial germ cells come to lie in the sphygmopleuric mesoderm, and that surrounds the hindgut. Coelomic epithelium covering the mesonephric ridges proliferate to form the genital ridges, and by the 5th week, the primordial germ cells migrate bilaterally through the dorsal mesentery to the region of the genital ridges by amoeboid movements. Next, see here, this is the gut, this is dorsal aorta, this is dorsal mesentery, and here is the allantois, and yolk sac will be outside the fetus at that time, and these are the genital ridges are developing on the two sides of the gut, okay, near the mesonephric ducts. Next, genital ridges or gonadal ridge in 5th week of intrauterine life, the coelomic epithelium, lining epithelium of primitive peritoneal cavity covering the medial surface of the mesonephros proliferates to form the genital ridge. And this genital ridge an elevation of the posterior abdominal wall, and this ridge consists of inner medulla and outer cortex. Migration of primordial germ cells in 4th week, the primordial germ cell migrate to the genital ridge along the dorsal mesentery and formation of primitive sex cords. From surface coelomic epithelium, numerous cord-like processes develop, enter the genital ridge to form the finger-like cords called the primitive sex cords. Next, depending on the chromosomal constitution of the individual, Y chromosome is present in male, so Y chromosome determine testis formation, as testis determining factor TDF is located on the short arm of chromosome Y, and testis determination factor is controlled by SRY gene, sex determining region of Y chromosome. And TDF induces differentiation of the Sertoli cells, and in the absence of testis determining factor, cells of sex cords differentiate into follicular cells of ovary. Ovarian development occurs in absence of Y chromosome or TDF gene. And both the X chromosomes should be genetically active to form primary ovarian follicles, and after formation of definitive female gonad, only one X chromosome remains active, whereas the other X chromosome becomes inactive to form the bar body. Okay. So this is the development in female we have already discussed, and this is due to the TDF factor SRY gene, and development in male occurs. Okay. Next. So dental ridge has outer cortex, inner medulla. In female fetus, cortex differentiate to form ovary and medulla regresses. But in male fetus, medulla differentiates to form the testis and cortex regresses. Okay, so এই লাইটগুলো বন্ধ করো তো, সামনের লাইটগুলো বন্ধ করো। And TDF also helps in differentiation of Leydig cells. Leydig cells start secreting testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, and testosterone stimulates the growth of mesonephric duct that forms male genital duct system. Okay. Absence of androgen, which are testosterone and dihydrotestosterone, allows the differentiation of Mullerian ducts into uterine tubes and uterus under the influence of maternal and paternal estrogen. This estrogen also differentiates genital swellings into female external genitalia. So that's how the development is occurring. Next. So this is the development. In male, chromosomal constitution is 46XY. Y chromosome is present within Y chromosome. SRY gene is present. Helps in development of testis determining factor TDF, which helps in differentiation of Sertoli cells, differentiation of medulla of the genital ridge, which differentiates into testis. Okay, medulla differentiates into testis and cortex regresses in male fetus. This testis secretes these three substances: anti-Mullerian substance, testosterone, dihydrotestosterone. Anti-Mullerian substance, inhibition of Mullerian duct, no formation of uterus and uterine tube. Testosterone, differentiation of Wolffian duct, formation of male genital tubes. And dihydrotestosterone, differentiation of male external genitalia. So these are the functions of these three substances in male fetus. Okay. Next we go to development of testis. Okay. It can come as a short note, development of testis. So testis is the male gonads and various parts of testis develop as follows. The medulla of the genital ridge, it forms seminiferous tubules, retitestis, interstitial cells, fibrous septa and intrinsic coverings of the testis. Okay, all these are formed from genital ridge. Then mesonephric tubules, there are 12 to 15 mesonephric tubules. They form the efferent ductules. Mesonephric duct forms canal of epididymis and vas deferens, and paramesonephric or Mullerian duct, it gets degenerated, it forms the remnant appendix of the testis. Next is mesonephros, it degenerates and forms remnant called as appendix of the epididymis. So these are the development from genital ridge and different ductal system. Okay. Next. So seminiferous tubules and retitestis, embryological. So these are important for your MCQs and Viva. Different parts, their embryological source. Medulla of the genital ridge, 6 cords. From here, seminiferous tubules and retitestis is developing. Interstitial cells of Leydig, fibrous septa and coverings of testis, they are developing from mesenchymal condensation of the genital ridge. Efferent tubules are developing from 12 to 15 mesonephric tubules. Canal of epididymis and vas deferens developing from mesonephric duct. Appendix of testis from remnant of paramesonephric duct and appendix of epididymis from remnant of mesonephros. Okay. Next. So this is the development. You can see primordial germ cells are migrating from the yolk sac. Here within the genital ridge, primitive sex cords are forming like this. Okay. So these germ cells are included within the primitive sex cords and gradually developing the testis. And these are the ductal systems. Okay, mesonephric tubules, all these will form the efferent ductules, and from these sex cords it will form the testis and the seminiferous tubules and retitestis. Okay. And paramesometric duct, here most of the part will disappear. It will develop mainly in the females. Next. So see here, development of male gonad or testis. Medulla of the genital ridge forms seminiferous tubule, retitestis and interstitial cells here. Okay, medullary cords. Mesonephric tubules form the efferent ductules. Here, mesonephric tubules forming efferent ductules. Mesonephric duct forms canal of the epididymis. Here, mesonephric duct is forming canal of the epididymis and which is continuing above as the vas deferens. And paramesonephric or Mullerian duct get degenerated except at the appendix of testis. Okay, this is the only remnant. Our mesonephros also degenerates, but it's small remnant from the appendix of the epididymis. Okay, so here these are developing. So mesonephric tubules are forming efferent ductules here, and this canalization of the medullary cords are forming the retitestis and seminiferous tubules. Here seminiferous tubules are retitestis, and mesonephric duct is forming epididymis and which is called and vas deferens. Okay, so this is the development. So you practice a schematic diagram like this if comes as a short note. Next. Next is descent of testis. Descent of testis is very important. Asked in your viva, in your viscera table. Also important for theory. Okay, short note or part of a long question can be given. Descent of testis. At which age testis lies at which level? All these are important. Also there are some clinical aspects. Those comes as explain why question or those are also important short notes. Descent of testis. Testis develops in the dorsal abdominal wall at the level of upper lumbar vertebra. And during development, testis descends slowly from lumbar region to the scrotum. And afterwards, testis lies outside the body within the scrotal sac. So testis descends slowly with this following schedule. During the third month, testis reaches up to the iliac fossa. Okay. So, testis was developing during the 7th, 8th week of the intrauterine life in 2 months. Okay, after complete development, it starts its descent. Okay, so during 3rd month, it reaches the iliac fossa. At 6th month, it reaches up to the deep inguinal ring. In the 7th month, it travels through the inguinal canal. At the end of 8th month, reaches the superficial inguinal ring, and by the end of 9th month reaches the scrotum. Okay, scrotal sac. After that, birth occurs 9 months. After 9 months, next. So generally, before birth, it reaches the scrotal sac. Testis reaches scrotal sac. But in some children, it may also descend after the birth. And if it remains within the abdominal cavity, then there is high chance of infertility and cancer development within the testicular tissue. Okay, that's why it is important. So, in the 3rd month, it reaches up to the iliac fossa. 6th month, it reaches at the deep inguinal ring. And see here, these are the factors helps in descent. See, this is gubernaculum testis. It is pulling the testis downward. Okay, and along with the testis, a part of peritoneum that is known as processus vaginalis, it will also descend along with the testis. Okay, and all the layers of the anterior abdominal wall, external oblique, internal oblique, transversus abdominis, fossa transversalis, all those structures descend along with the testis and forms part of the covering of the testis and lies within the scrotal sac as different fossa, external spermatic fossa, cremasteric fossa, internal spermatic fossa. Like this, all these are forming from the extent of the muscles of the anterior abdominal wall during descent of the testis. So, 3rd month, developing testis in the iliac fossa, gubernaculum testis is pulling it downward. And here, 6th month, it is lying at the deep inguinal ring. 8th month, here is it lies at the superficial inguinal ring. And you see the gubernaculum of testis is gradually shortening during its pulling down the testis. And at 9th month, it reaches at the bottom of the scrotal sac. Okay. Next. So these are the factors assisting descent of testis. Very, very important. It comes as a short note. Okay. So differential body wall growth, formation of inguinal bursa, gubernaculum testis, processes vaginally. This is a part of peritoneum coming along with the testis. Other factors are increased abdominal pressure, male sex hormones, high abdominal temperature, contraction of the cremaster muscle. All those helps in descent of the testis. Okay. Next, anomalies of testis, cryptorchidism, anarchism, monarchism, and ectopic testis. Cryptorchidism means testis is hidden in some areas. It is not in its original position. It is hidden in other areas. Anarchism means not development of the testis. None of the testis is developed. Monarchism means one testis is developed, another is not developed. Ectopic testis, these are the both of the testes is developed, but they are not lying at its normal position. They can lie at this different ectopic position in the superficial perineal pouch, that is known as perineal, in front of pubic symphysis, in femoral canal, in the skin of the penis, and under skin in front of the thigh. So these are the locations. This is also important for your Viva and MCQ, ectopic locations of the testis. So in a child, if you don't find the testis within the scrotal sac, you have to search for the testis in these areas. Okay, understood? That's why it is important. Next, and explain why question also asked from this region. These are the clinical aspect: congenital hydrocele and congenital inguinal hernia. Processus vaginalis normally obliterates by 1 year, and persistent processus vaginalis forms a passage through which coils of intestine protrude and form the congenital inguinal hernia. Accumulation of fluid in part of processus vaginalis results in congenital hydrocele. Okay. Next, this is cryptorchidism or undescended testis. This is important short note. Okay. So failure of descent of testis that results in absence of one or both testis from the scrotum. Location of testis in cryptorchidism is, in case of cryptorchidism, testis may be located in this following position: high up in the scrotum, in superficial inguinal ring, within inguinal canal, at deep inguinal ring, in iliac fossa or lumbar region. Okay, that means complete descent has not occurred. It is remaining in its pathway of descent at different regions. That is known as cryptorchidism. What will be the signs and symptoms? The patient will be infertile, okay, and there will be chance of development of malignancy or atrophy of the testis. And treatment is watchful waiting. If the age is less, it may descend on its own. Okay, so you have to wait for that. And orchidoplexy, if it normally not descend, you have to do orchidoplexy operation. Okay, you have to descent is manually. Okay, and it fix it with the within the scrotal sac in its normal position. Okay, understood? Orchidoplexy also comes in your exam. Next, in surgery mainly orchidoplexy comes in surgery. Okay, so this is the location, descent of testis. So in 3 months, developing testis in the iliac fossa, 2 to 3 months. 6 months, it lying at deep inguinal ring. 8th month, near the superficial inguinal ring. 9th month, in the scrotum. And here is the gubernaculum testis. And you can see this peritoneal sac, it is also coming along with the testis. And it is forming the tunica vaginalis, which is a covering of the testis. Okay, and this connection obliterates, and if it is present, then there is high chance of hernia, indirect inguinal hernia. So this is different sites of ectopic testis. See here, this is abdominal location. Here is in front of the pubic symphysis. This is penile, this is perineal, and this is femoral, and this is normal location of the testis. So all these can be a region of ectopic testis. Okay, so there is difference in cryptorchidism and ectopic testis. In cryptorchidism, testis is lying along the pathway at anywhere in this normal pathway of descent. But in ectopic testis, it is lying away from its normal position. Anomalies of processus vaginalis. First one is hydrocele. Okay, so this is processus vaginalis is enlarged and there is fluid accumulation within the processus vaginalis. So this is known as hydrocele. Next is encysted hydrocele. This is normal location of processus vaginalis and this part we have discussed it obliterates. This is peritoneal cavity. So this part obliterates, but in this case some part remains unobliterated and it here fluid accumulation occurs and it will form encysted hydrocele of the cord. Okay, because it is lying along with the spermatic cord structures, vas deferens, pampaniform plexus of veins, other nerves, arteries are present along with the spermatic cord. So this is known as encysted hydrocele of the cord. And third one is hydrocele with congenital inguinal hernia. A whole of the processus vaginalis is remaining patent. Okay, so you can see the gut content intestine is reaching through this processus vaginalis up to the scrotal sac. So here is congenital inguinal hernia along with the hydrocele. Also there will be fluid collection within the sac. Okay, next. Oh, acha. Okay, so next we go to the development of the prostate. Prostate develops from these sources. It has two zones, outer glandular zone, inner glandular zones. And outer glandular zone develops from buds arising from prostatic urethra. That is, it is endodermal in origin. Inner glandular zone develops from buds arising from mesodermal posterior wall of urethra above the openings of the ejaculatory ducts. There are total 5 buds arising from the prostatic urethra, namely one anterior, 2 posterior and 2 lateral. All these are together forming the prostate gland. And muscle, connective tissue and capsule, they develop from surrounding mesoderm of the urethra. Okay, so this is development of prostate gland. Next, see here, these are budding from the this is urinary bladder. This part is prostatic urethra. From the prostatic urethra, budding occurs. So this tissue will develop into testis. And here is development of vas deferens and the seminal vesicles. Okay. And around these buddings, mesodermal tissue will condense. They will form the muscle tissues. Some muscular fibers are fibromusculoglandular organ. Prostate is, they have fibers, muscle tissues and also glandular tissue. So glandular tissue is developing from these buds from the urethra and other tissues are developing from the mesoderm. Development of external genitalia. In initial stages, development of male and female external genitalia is same. In 4th week, the mesoderm thickens on the side of cloacal membrane and this thickening produces surface elevation called the cloacal folds. Urorectal septum divides the cloacal membrane into ventral urogenital membrane and dorsal anal membrane. Along with the division of cloacal membrane, cloacal fold is also divided into cranial larger urethral fold and caudal anal folds. Lateral to the urethral folds, another swelling called genital swellings appear. Okay. Next. See here, this is genital tubercle. These are the genital swellings, cloacal folds, cloacal membrane. Cloacal membrane is dividing here to form urogenital membrane, anal membrane. Okay, these are genital swelling, urethral folds, genital tubercle. Okay, so here it is urogenital membrane. This is urethral folds, perineum, anal folds. Anal membrane ruptures to form the anus, and in male urethral folds with fuse and form the scrotal sac and the penis and penile part of the urethra. Next, and this outer part will form the scrotum in male and labia majora minora in females. So stages of development of male external genitalia, it can be divided into these three stages: development of penile urethra, development of prepuce of penis, and development of the scrotum. Next, so this is development of penile urethra. Genital tubercles elongates to form phallus of primitive penis, and primitive urethral groove ectoderm appears on the surface of urogenital membrane and it extends to tip of the primitive penis. Simultaneously, urethral folds and primitive urethral groove also elongate on the undersurface of the primitive penis. An endoderm of the phallic part of urogenital sinus proliferates into phallus, that is primitive penis, and forms solid plate called the urethral plate. Soon, the solid urethral plate gets canalized and forms a tube, endodermal tube, and that is closely attached to the urethral groove which develops from the ectoderm. Urethral groove developing from urogenital membrane ruptures and a deep groove called definitive urethral groove under the surface of the phallus is formed. This, through the definitive urethral groove, urogenital sinus communicates with the exterior. Margins of this groove are called definitive urethral folds, and these folds fuse with each other in the caudocranial direction from base to the tip of the penis in primitive penis, okay, and to form the penile urethra. And midline ectodermal fission forms penile raphe. When raphe is thickened, it will form a chordee. This is a clinical aspect. And the terminal part of urethra develops from solid ectodermal mass, and that later gets canalized. Okay. Next we go to development of the prepuce of the penis. So near the tip of the primitive penis or phallus, a circular sulcus appears, and that separates glans penis from rest of the penis. And surface ectoderm proliferates and forms a fold called the prepuce or foreskin. And development of scrotum, on fusion of urethral folds, both the genital swellings enlarge to form the scrotal swellings, and scrotal swellings enlarge and fuse in the midline to form the scrotum. Okay, so this we have already discussed. Clitoris is developing from genital tubercle, which corresponds to the penis in men. Labia minora develops from primitive urethral fold, labia majora from the genital swelling, and majora fuse posteriorly to form this commissure, anterior posterior labial commissure, and vestibule of vagina develops from rupture of urogenital membrane. Next, so this is the development. See, first urethral plate is formed, then it thickens and it is grooved, formed urethral groove, and from the urethral groove it the urethral folds are fused to form the definitive urethra. Okay, and this here the groove has been shown, and here the two folds are fused to form the opening is present near the tip of penis, and rest of the part is fused, and here it is forming the median raphe, and on the two sides scrotal soilings are developing. They are fused with each other here to form the scrotal sac. Okay, and here is the perineum, anal opening. Next, and here prepuce is developing. A groove is formed near the tip of penis, and here is a growth of the ectodermal tissue, and it will cover the glans penis and form the prepuce. And urethra, the distal part of urethra is formed from this solid ectodermal mass. It will be canalized ectodermal mass and form the distal end of the urethra, penile urethra. Okay, so this is development of prepuce and urethra. Next, and this is development of the scrotal sac. See, this is testis, this is vas deferens epididymis, and this is processus tunica vaginalis, which was unobliterated part of the tunica vaginalis. Okay, this part remains, and this part is obliterated. This is peritoneal cavity. If there is connection, there will be hernia. And see here, external, this is skin, outer red one is the skin, External oblique muscle continues as the external spermatic fossa. Internal oblique muscle continues as the cremasteric fossa. Then there is fossa transversus abdominis. It does not continue. It fuses with the internal oblique. And this is fossa transversalis, which is continuing as the internal spermatic fossa. Okay, and so these are the covering of the testis within the scrotal sac. First will be skin, then external spermatic fossa, cremasteric muscle and fossa, then internal spermatic fossa, processus vaginalis, which have two layers, parietal layer, visceral layer. Inside it, the testis is located. And on the along the posterior margin, this vas deferens and epididymis is attached. Okay, understood? And within this tunica vaginalis is fluid collection occurs, then there will be hydrocele. So you have to know these coverings during the hydrocele operation or like this. Next, these are the clinical aspects. Very, very important clinical aspect comes in your short note. Very important short note. Hypospadias, epispadias. Hypospadias, external urethral orifice is located on the ventral aspect of the penis. Okay. Anatomical position of penis is in erected position. Tip is above and base is below. Okay. So anterior ventral aspect of the penis in hypospadias, external urethral orifice is located. It's teed off at the tip of penis. What is the embryological basis? There is failure of canalization of the ectodermal cord that forms terminal part of urethra in glans penis, or failure of fusion of the urethral folds that completes formation of the penile urethra. There is classification. Hypospadias is classified according to the location of external urethral opening in these following types. First is glandular hypospadias. It is located near the glans penis, okay, near the normal opening. Balanic hypospadias, opening is located at the junction between the glans penis and shaft of the penis. Penile hypospadias on the ventral aspect of the penis. Penoscrotal near the scrotal sac. Perineal near the perineal body. Okay. So what will be the treatment? There it will need surgical correction. And hypospadias usually produces a condition called chordee. In this condition, head of penis curves downward and that shows resistance during erection. Next, see the different locations of hypospadias. This is the normal urethral opening. Here, this is glandular type within glans penis. This is balanic type at the junction between the glans and shaft of penis. This is penile type within the shaft of penis, ventral aspect of shaft of penis, and this is penoscrotal near the scrotal sac. Here is perineal near the perineal body. Okay. Next, epispadias, external urethral orifice is located on the dorsal aspect or upper surface of the penis. What is the embryological basis? Probably due to formation of genital tubercle caudale, then its formation of genital tubercle caudale and its usual cranial relation with the urogenital membrane. Association along with the epispadias, sometimes there is ectopia vesici, bladder extrophy. Okay, posterior wall of bladder is exposed to outside. And treatment is comprehensive surgical correction. Okay, surgical correction must needed in case of epispadias. Otherwise, the child will die due to infection because the mucous membrane is exposed to the exterior. High chance of infection is there. Okay.